Alright guys, I'm going to start working on fixing the rust on the quarters here. And by fixing I mean I'm just going to grind everything down, put on the Eastwood rust encapsulator, and go from there. I may have to fill some spots, but I also got some body hammers and I might just roll the slip up. So what I had to do was take a clip off the bottom the side skirt so I could have some movement to get these are the old dog leg covers, so they go on here and then they go in here on the clip. So these come off because the Outback flares go into here as well. But yeah, I'm gonna get the wheels off and take the mud flaps off, tail lights. And I've never taken this bumper off before, so that'll be interesting, but it shouldn't be too hard. But yeah, well, let's get started. Okay guys, so far there's a 10mm bolt up in here holding on the bumper, and so far everything seems to be coming out. Looks like then just these black clips under here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some more here. And that should be enough to get the bumper off. There's probably some underneath the tail light too. So we'll see when we get there. So I did have to remove the tail lights because there are 2 more clips up here. But so far it's not connected. But these top clips should be the last one, then the bumper should come off. Well, I'm gonna have to cheat here a little bit because I don't know if you can see in here, way far back. I know it's pretty dark, but where the bumper's holding on, there's a 10mm bolt in there, but it's inside. Apparently I had to dismantle the whole interior here to get to it, but I have an amp in here and a Macintosh subwoofer, so I don't really need the bumper off to do this work. So I think I'm just going to put something in there to kind of hold it back like this. It should give me enough room to just touch up this rust and grind this all down. So sorry for people that really need the whole bumper off, because this sucks. You're gonna have to take apart. Probably take off this panel, maybe get to it in here if you don't have an OEM subwoofer like I do. But yeah, I think this is the first time I've actually been frustrated with Subaru, because most things are pretty simple, but this seems a little bit more difficult than it needs to be. But oh well, let's keep moving forward. Alright guys, so now I'm just taping the flares on here quickly, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna put some tape, just like follow this line of tape, just give me a reference of how far it can go up. And I'll put the tape a little bit lower as well, just to leave myself some room, just in case I don't want to go too high and ruin this finish. Because the whole point of this project is to fix and cover this rust without doing any more paint on the quarter than I need. Okay, so this is the Eastwood rust encapsulator, their new formula, the Platinum. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush it on all these parts. I might grind this a little. Actually, I will have to grind this down a little more, get all the loose stuff off. But this is probably as good as this is going to get. Might do a little bit more grinding actually. starting to get holes, but like I said, I'm going to hammer this lip all the way flat as if I were like rolling fenders. So I'll just brush it on all in here, and actually all in behind this lip I sanded with 80 grit, so I'm just gonna make sure that this will never rust, which I don't have any starting here, which I'm pretty happy with. But let's do this and see how this does. Alright, so I got all the rust caps later on. I'm going to let that sit overnight to harden and then take a look at it tomorrow. Check the other side. On there. A little bit down there. This side wasn't as bad as the driver's side. But like I said, we'll let this sit overnight to harden real nice, and then we could sand it and prime it tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. Stuff is nice and hard. Got it masked off, so I'm gonna sand it with 220 grit. Then I'm gonna hit it with this this rust primer, because Eastwood wants you to top coat this with a primer first. So I'll do this. I'll get all in behind there too with the rust killer primer, and then when that's dry, I'll give it a quick scuff and use the Duplicolor truck bed coating, and that should seal this up really good. And then we'll install the flares over top. Alright, so I got everything 3M double side taped. I just put it on the edge where there was like tape from the OEM, and then everywhere that the push clips go into, because I didn't drill holes on my quarters like the Outbacks have. And these clips down here I'll just steal from the other dog leg that I have. But just gonna wait for the bed liner to dry, and then I could put these on and put the car back together and see how it all looks. Okay, so this is the passenger side quarter. I'm gonna knock this lip up with a body hammer after it's dry, just to make it flush, and just so if I do want to run wider wheels later on, that they won't rub. But this is what I was going for, and hopefully it'll work and it'll stop the rust from going like higher than the flares will. And I guess we'll see after a few years, but hopefully this was educational enough for you guys to do it on your own, and some other ideas rather than going with the big huge I forget the brand of the fiberglass flares, but I do think the OEM Outback ones look better, and they'll feel a lot nicer, and being plastic, at least they'll have some give in the winter time.